Hello again. It's time for us to take a look at making our own prism. So, do you have prisms lying around? Well, I do. Got the Rubik's Cube. I've got my little, things that came in the box from the teacher store. But how do we find prisms that we can use our rulers on, that we can use our scissors on to cut them apart and make them into nets? So I've got my ruler handy. Make sure that you have your paper ruler handy because we're going to be using units, not centimeters or inches. So make sure you've got your ruler handy. And so, do I have prisms? What would classify as a prism? Well, I can't cut my Rubik's Cube apart, but I am in the kitchen. So if I'm looking around, I see, well, there's a box where we just bought a new can opener. That's kind of got a square bottom, and then it's got longer, tall sides, so it kind of looks like this. I see cereal boxes. Yeah, cereal boxes. They look a little bit like this, right? Maybe, right? Cereal boxes. So look for something in your house that is destroyable and doesn't need to be replaced. Let me clear that up. And what I've got is my generic Pop-Tarts box, okay? And what I did was I took out, whenever you open up the top of a box, it's got those little flappy flaps right there. I cut those off. They're not really part of our prism, right? Our prism has a top and a bottom, and then it has 4 sides. In this case, it looks like maybe this part is the top, this part is the bottom, and our 4 sides might be equal, they might not. So what I did was take out those little half flappy flaps there, and then I made sure that my top and my bottom are gonna stay together because I'm gonna cut this apart and make it into a net. So you need a good heavy duty marker like a Sharpie, and you need some heavy duty scissors. Mine are not so heavy duty, but we're gonna give it a shot. So the first thing I'm gonna do is decide what's gonna be my top and my bottom of this. So let me switch to my other camera, and I think you'll be able to see it a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so look, Bumble still says no, guys. So here is my prism. Again, looks kind of like that one. I'm gonna count that as the top and that as the bottom. Now remember when we did our nets? When we did our nets, we glued the bottom of the prism to our paper, and then we had dotted lines and we folded up on the dotted lines. So we cut outside around all the sides, and we left our bottom as something that we stuck to the paper. So as you're thinking of yours, so you might need to like pause this, go find a box, cut off any flappy flaps here, make sure that you've got tape to secure these because we're not cutting down the middle of this, we're gonna cut on the side. So we need those 2 pieces to stick together, all right? So if you need to pause and go get your box, do that. But so what I'm gonna do is say, okay, so I'm gonna take my marker, this is my bottom. And these marks are just gonna help me remember what sticks to the table. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to cut right here because the last time we made a net, it had these little flappy flaps that folded down, right? So there's one, and you can see why I taped that, because had I not, it would be falling apart right now. So there's my first flap that comes out. All right, well, heck, I'm gonna do that on this side then. Cutting along the edge. Now I've got two. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to cut this part. And you might not have straight cuts, that's okay. I'm going to be forgiving on how we measure these things. And now I have something that looks like a net. We do not have more tape handy. That's unfortunate. So you can see here where that kind of goes in a little bit. We're going to have to be a little bit forgiving on how we measure this. But here's my double X going down there. That's the bottom. Here is my net. So I'm going to take my ruler, my Sharpie, and I'm going to measure each one of these. So there's where my ruler starts at 0. And let me move the camera a little bit closer, see if you can see this. Without tipping everything over here. I'll put the 0 right on the edge. And it goes out to, it's a little less than 22. Now I want you to be as exact as possible. So 21 is right there. It is very nearly 22. So I'm going to count that one as 22. And I'm going to try to get my camera to not fall over, which isn't working. If Bumble can help here. All right. All right. So I'm going to say 22 units, right? These aren't centimeters or millimeters, and I do not want you using a ruler. If you have one of these, put it away. Do not use it. I want paper ruler units. I want graph paper units. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to measure 0 right on the fold line. I've got 0, oopsie, right on the fold line. I need an assistant. And then I'm going to measure over to the edge, and it's just a little more than 11. I'm going to count it as 11. All right, so that's 11 units this way. Now, I'm going to make those measurements for every single one of these. Put it right on the fold, go over to the fold. This one is 26 wide. And I'm drawing these big long arrows, so there's no question to me as to how long these things are. Now we've already measured from here to here, right? We've already measured this part. So that's got to be 22 also. And for our flaps out here, we already measured here to be 26. So our flaps, in the poor condition that they're in there, are also going to be 26. So go around your whole entire net that you have now, your whole net, and make those markings. Let's see how long one of the flaps is. I'm going to hold it down really tight. To the fold, ooh, now to the fold, if you'll look there, That fold is past the 11. It's almost right between 11 and 12. I am going to call that 11 and a half. I'm going to call that one 11 and a half, guys. 11.5 units. Okay, and that other flap's going to be the same. And knowing that this thing came all the way together as a box, then I know that from here to here is also 11. And that this piece over here matches my top, which is 26. So this exercise is a homework. And all of these up and downs are 22. I would like you to send me a picture of your labeled net. Remember, this is called a net. When we take apart a solid and break it down, then it's called a net. I would like you to send me a picture of your net that has all of the units measured on it. And remember, use your common sense. If you've already measured one part and it matches up with another part, then you don't have to measure again. You do need to measure, though, with your paper ruler, because I want to see you use that. I want to see you using that correctly to measure things. So here's my net. You might have to take more than one picture or like get really far away. But here's my net. It might help you to draw in the folds, maybe in a different color. So I have a blue highlighter here. It might help to just draw in where the folds are, just so there's no question as to where we were measuring to, even though we put those arrows in. Just gonna highlight where my folds are and show you how that looks. So no question now where things get folded. I'm folding over here, I'm folding twice. I'm folding right here, and I'm folding right here. Here's just once, here's just once, and over here is just once. But especially right here, it's helpful to see that I'm folding. So I can fold all of this back together, and I've got my Pop-Tarts box, and I can lay it with the X's down. And then I can unfold it into a net. So take a photo of that and send it in to Homework Drop. Please do not send emails. Please send to Homework Drop. There are instructions for Homework Drop. If you need them, let me know. Next Monday's homework will be for you to calculate volume and surface area of your solid. So if you're in the midst of doing this particular project and you want to move on, look at Monday's homework in RenWeb, and you'll see that the assignment for homework is to calculate the surface area and the volume of the prism that you chose. All right, if you have any questions, drop me a comment or send me an email, a WeChat, a text, a phone call. I think I hit them all. You can get me anytime. It's like an earthquake. This external camera is out of control. So sorry. Have a great day. Have a great Friday if that's when you're working on this. And next week's homework information will be in RenWeb very soon. I'm recording this on Sunday of the 19th, and it will be in there well before Friday of this week. So I hope that you have a great week or a great weekend, depending on when you're watching this. And next up, we'll talk about surface area and volume of your prism.